In the final weeks of April 1945, the Third Reich was disintegrating. German forces surrendered in staggering numbers as Allied armies swept eastward through a broken nation. Prisoner of war processing centers operated day and night, absorbing thousands of captured soldiers, Wehrmacht conscripts, aging reservists, and hardened SS veterans alike. It was in one such facility, outside Frankfurt, that General George S. Patton witnessed something that would define, in a single moment, the moral weight of the war he had spent years fighting. Patton was conducting a routine inspection of the processing center when he stopped. Among the rows of German prisoners being documented and disarmed stood an SS officer in full uniform. Around his neck hung not one dog tag, not two, but a chain strung with dozens of them, American identification tags, stamped with names, service numbers, blood types, and religious designations. Patton stepped forward and counted. There were 50. 50 American soldiers, 50 men who left home, crossed an ocean, and died, reduced now to metal ornaments worn by the man who claimed to have killed them. Captain James Mitchell, the Ohio-born officer overseeing the processing center, was summoned immediately. Lieutenant William Harper, the camp's intelligence officer, and Private Anton Weber, a German-American translator, were brought forward within minutes. What unfolded in the next quarter of an hour was neither theatrical nor chaotic. It was measured, deliberate, and absolute. Through Weber, Patton learned the prisoner's identity: Klaus Richter, SS Hauptsturmführer, Waffen-SS, 12th Panzer Division. When asked about the dog tags, Richter answered without hesitation. He had collected them from dead American soldiers across France, Belgium, and Germany over the course of a year. Each tag, he said, represented a personal kill. He wore them as proof. The processing area fell silent. Every American soldier present had stopped working. Patton's response was not rage, it was something more deliberate. Speaking slowly, with Weber translating each sentence, he addressed Richter directly. "You are a prisoner of war. You have no rights, no privileges, no property. Everything you are wearing belongs to the United States Army now, including that necklace." He continued, "Those dog tags do not belong to you. They belong to the families of the men you murdered, and they are going home, every single one." Richter refused to remove the necklace. Patton gave him 5 seconds. At the count of 1, Captain Mitchell and 2 military police officers moved forward. Richter struggled. The chain was seized and broken. 50 dog tags scattered across the concrete floor, each one caught, each one carefully retrieved. Richter was immediately placed in solitary confinement pending a full investigation. Patton turned to the assembled soldiers and spoke plainly. "Those are your brothers. Each one left home to fight, to serve, to do their duty, and they died doing it. This is desecration. It will not stand." Army investigators interviewed Richter extensively over the following weeks. His account was internally consistent, but cross-referencing dates, locations, and unit movements told a more disturbing story. Of the 50 dog tags, only 12 came from soldiers killed in direct combat. The remaining 38 revealed a pattern of systematic atrocity. 7 tags were taken from soldiers killed during surrender. 11 belonged to wounded men shot in field hospitals. 9 came from prisoners of war executed after capture. The origins of the final 11 could not be determined. Richter was not a battlefield collector. He was a war criminal. The investigation file was forwarded to war crimes prosecutors and incorporated into the international tribunal then being organized. In 1946, Klaus Richter stood trial on 52 counts of war crimes. the 50 murders represented by the dog tags, plus 2 additional cases uncovered during the investigation. The tags themselves were entered into evidence, each one displayed before the court. Richter was convicted on 47 counts. He was sentenced to death and executed in 1947, unrepentant to the last. Lieutenant Harper spent hours cataloging each tag, recording every name, every service number, every detail. Letters were then sent to the families. For many, the notification brought grief of a specific and painful clarity. They had spent months in suspension, told only that their son, brother, or husband was missing, possibly killed, with no confirmation and no body. Now they had an answer, however devastating. One such family was that of Private First Class David Murphy of Boston, 22 years old. Her mother, upon receiving the tag in 1946, gave an interview to a local newspaper. She described the months of uncertainty, the absence of closure, and then the letter. She noted that the Army had explained General Patton had personally ensured the tags would be returned. She said, "That means something." Patton never spoke publicly about the incident. It does not appear in his memoirs or his official dispatches. But the soldiers who were present carried the story with them, through other units, through the months that followed, and into civilian life. One of the MPs who had seized the necklace from Richter recalled the moment years later in an interview with a historian. He remembered Patton's composure, not the rage the general was known for, but something colder and more purposeful. What stayed with him, he said, was a single phrase Patton had used when ordering that the tags be catalogued with care. Patton had said they were not evidence, they were remains. The incident at the Frankfurt Processing Center is a precise illustration of what distinguishes the rule of law from the chaos of war. Patton did not act impulsively. He established facts, assembled witnesses, ordered a proper investigation, and ensured the matter was placed before a legal tribunal. He also understood something that transcended the procedural, that the identities of the dead deserve protection, that soldiers are not trophies, and that the obligation to those who fall does not end with their deaths. 50 families received answers. 47 convictions were secured. One man was held accountable for crimes he committed with deliberate indifference towards human dignity. The dog tags went home. That, in the end, is what justice at the threshold of defeat looked like. Not triumphant, not clean, but real, and pursued with the same discipline that had characterized the war itself.